Welcome to this week's episode of Tete a Tete. So today I'll be sharing with you some tips on how to track your time. It used to be a few years ago, maybe even 10 years ago, when people were always competing against each other about how busy they are in their lives. So when the busier you are, the more successful or hardworking it is perceived. But over time, this perception has changed, and because we are moving towards digitalization, our work scopes are supposed to be made easier through the use of digital media, digital softwares, and whatnot. So if you find yourself always busy, it's time to reflect and ask yourself, why am I not having enough time for myself or enough time to finish what I plan to finish at work? In Malaysia, the older corporates, some of them still believe that the more hours you spend in the office, the more hardworking they think you are. Or the thing is, nowadays, newer companies have a different way of doing things. When they want you to work smart, they want you to balance your life a little bit better. As long as you are churning out the results that they want, it doesn't matter how many hours you spend at the office. And even when we're talking about this, with the pandemic, more and more people are working from home. So sometimes this can in itself be a challenge, because you are trying to balance your work and also your home life. So and another thing to even consider would be, if you are an entrepreneur or running a business, your work and your play hours are intertwined. There's no real cut-off time, because you are building your business and you want it to grow as fast as possible. So you only start to take maybe breaks or maybe short holidays when you have enough, when you have made enough to hire capable people to run the business for you. So regardless of whether you're working excessive hours or not, believing that you are short on time has actual real damaging effects. Research actually shows that when you are highly aware of time passing, you're always looking at the clock, you're thinking that the minutes are just flying by, it makes you less compassionate towards others, because you become rude, you become impatient. This is all due to pressure. So you become less polite, and you sometimes make irrational decisions, and you might lash out at people for no good reason. So because of this, feeling pressed for time can lead you to bad choices about how you use it, and this can actually become a vicious cycle. So having no clear understanding of how you spend your time can make you feel more overwhelmed, and this actually feeds the sense that you're pressed for time, and this leads to even more feelings of being overwhelmed. It's a vicious cycle, like I mentioned earlier. So people who are aware of their schedules and tend to spend more time doing what they want, setting aside more time for leisure, and these people who are aware of their time, are tracking the time, are able to basically allow themselves to reflect and contemplate, and gives them more time to gives them a sense of more time. It doesn't really mean that they actually have more time. It's just a perception that they do have more time, and that makes them more calm and clear-headed. On the other hand, some people who have a low time perception, they might spend more time doing things that are time wasters. For example, watching TV series, binging on TV series, or lingering on social media sites, just looking at posts and news, and then before you know it, 2 or 3 hours have passed by, and then suddenly they realize, oh no, I don't have time to do what I wanted to do. So does this sound familiar? Does this sound like you? Some people, on the other hand, okay, this might not be applicable to everybody, because some of you might actually be struggling to work multiple jobs. Even like me, I do take on extra projects to make up for the events that are not taking place. So whatever I can take and I think I can handle, I will take on. So for you guys who are also trying to put shelter over your family, food on the table, this might not be applicable to you too extensively, but it might help you to plan things better. So here's how to sharpen your time perception. Okay, first things first, track your time. So how do you do this? Begin by tracking your activities on either paper, a notebook, diary, perhaps if you're old school like me, or even a laptop where you can have a checklist where you can put in the time slots. So what you can do is ask yourself in the important questions. How much time do I want to spend on this particular task? For example, checking your social media networks, checking how many people have engaged with your posts if you're in the marketing line. How much time do you want to spend exercising or walking around your neighborhood? How much time should you take to even have lunch or dinner, or even have time to meet up with your family and your friends? Try dividing your days into half-hour blocks. Every few hours, writing down what you do. Okay, so this is how you keep track of your time. Making a schedule works. So create a list of the things you want to do every day, plus the things you have to do. So what you want to do and what you have to do. Okay, and then spread them over the waking hours that you have. Here's an example of how a schedule might look like. Alright, it's not set in stone. It's just something to guide you and to show you how much time you're spending on each task, and maybe you want to reduce or increase a certain hours or minutes based on the task. Okay, be happy. I have to make time for myself to be happy. So and you deserve that too. So try to keep these 2 steps in mind when you're planning your week ahead, and I will see you next week. Bye.